श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ सुखं दुःखं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत् इति मे निश्चिता मतिः. So in the morning we saw yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantante kalevaram pantam eva eti he kaunteya sada tadbhav bhavitah. A person who is meditating upon the same thing again and again repeatedly, that becomes a habit, and that is what he is going to think about at the end of his life, and that is what he is going to, that is the seed for the next life. So there are stories in Bhagavata also regarding this. See, I said one story of Jada Bharata. Jada Bharata is a conscious effort, and there is another fellow, I forgot his name. So he is a very simple peasant. So at the end of his life, in deathbed, he calls his son Narayana, Narayana. His son's name is Narayana, and Narayana is the name of Lord Vishnu. So he calls Narayana, and because of that, and while death, so because of that, people from Vaikuntha, the Vishnu's abode, they come and take him away. So think as the final thought is a very risky thought. We can't bet our life on it. That is like a bet all in bet. So we don't want that. We will just get it done before that. We don't want to wait till that also. Okay. Tathapi शुद्ध ब्रह्म प्राप्तेः वेदांत प्रमाणजन्य द्वैतमिथ्यात्व पूर्वकत्वात् अद्वैत ज्ञान मात्र साध्यात् भोग इच्छा रूप प्रतिबंध सत्वात् च यस्य ज्ञानं न संजातं तस्य कार्य ब्रह्म प्राप्ति रूप सायुज्य मुक्तिरेव सिद्ध्यति. Now, tathapi, even though it is said that if a person meditates on this, at the end of his life, he will receive that. But the thing is, Shuddha Brahma Praptehe, the attainment of pure self, which is liberation. The liberation is attained only through Vedanta Pramana Janya Dvaita Mithyatva Purvakatvat Advaita Matra Sadhyatva Advaita Jnana Matra Sadh. It is the liberation can be gained, the knowledge of the pure self can be gained, not the knowledge. The pure self can be gained only through the pramana, the means of right knowledge of Vedanta. And that knowledge, which is non-dual knowledge, gets rid of the duality. So the knowledge of duality, there is a similar statement in Advaita Siddhi introduction. Dvaita Mithyatva Siddhi Purvakatvat Advaita Siddhehe. That is how he starts Advaita Siddhi. Advaita Siddhi is a very famous text written by the great Madhusudana Saraswati, who wrote the commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Gudhartha Deepika. So there he starts. Advaita Siddhi means establishing the non-duality. Establishing the non-duality is impossible because duality can be established. How can you establish non-duality when there is nothing to establish it? Compare it with it. So he says, for us, it is very simple. Dvaita Mithyatva. Advaita is already established. You cannot establish. Understand this. Advaita is Nitya Siddha. It is ever established, ever existing. You cannot establish it through Pramana. So the premise of the book name itself is wrong. Advaita Siddhi is wrong. That is what the opponent wants to think. So us to think actually. So for that he starts with, don't bring complaints on this. For us, Dvaita Mithyatva Siddhi Purvakatvat Advaita Siddhe. Advaita is well established just by refuting the duality, by establishing the world of duality to be illusory. Over. We cannot establish Advaita. Yes, we know. We are not establishing Advaita directly. We are establishing the illusoriness of the duality. Over. So that is exactly what he says. Mithyatva Dvaita Mithyatva Purvakatvat. The non-duality is established by establishing the illusoriness of the duality. Illusoriness of the duality, non-reality of the duality cannot be gained until there is a small desire. Until there is a small desire. Till there is a small desire, you cannot gain the illusoriness knowledge of the duality. Okay. Bhoga Ichcharo Pratibandha Sattva, because there is a pratibandha, there is an obstacle in the form of desire for enjoyment, sensual pleasures, here and hereafter. Yasya jnanam na sanjatam, but because of this obstacle, whoever didn't gain the knowledge, but is on the way, but didn't gain the knowledge, tasya kare brahma prapti rupa sayujya mukti reva siddhyati. For him, the mukti, the liberation is a krama mukti. We call it first, we call it krama mukti. Here he calls it a sayujya prapti, karya brahma prapti. He gains the karya brahman, the effectual brahman, which is the attribute itself. So the first attribute itself, Hiranyagarbha, the firstborn, he gains that the world of that Brahman, which is Brahmaloka. He goes to Brahmaloka. Simple. So Brahmalokam Gatasya Upasakasya Hiranyagarbha Samana Vibhuti Aishwaryadikam Siddhiti. I already told you that you cannot even claim to go and sit there. If we are bored, we'll go and sit there and look at that our Ishta Devata, our object of meditation, whom we love. That is also impossible, because when you go to Brahmaloka, this meditator also takes the same form of Hiranyagarbha. He also gains the same powers as Hiranyagarbha. Vibhuti Aishwaryadikam. You, the person, you go there, you desire, it happens. Satya Sankalpa, we call it. Satya Sankalpa means the moment you have an intention, the desire, that thought, that will fructify. You don't have to work or do anything to gain the object, to gain the desired. The desire itself is enough. So, Satya Sankalpa, he is bringing that. Satya Sankalpattam Ichchanurupam Shariram Sankalpa Matrena Abhishta Bhoga Labhascha Siddhyati. What does that mean? He gains the same powers as the Hiranyagarbha. He is Satya Sankalpattam, desire, whatever, you gain that. And Ichcharu Anurupam Shariram, you desire whichever form of body, you will gain that body. Sankalpa Matrena Abhishta Bhoga Labhascha. And just by a desire, whatever enjoyment you want, that is experienced. Yugapadeva Nana Shariraihi Nana Bhoga Anubhave Ichchayam Satyam Sankalpa Matra Deva Shanene Eva Nana Vichitra Sharirani Pratak Bhoga Upakarana Siddhischa Bhavati. There is no point in explaining all this stupidity. But still, he goes on. He started this and he goes in a dream world. He says, okay, let me add this also. Let me add that also. This is a absurdity. He goes and he becomes of one nature with that. That is enough. You know, Ishvara means he is all powerful, omniscient, omnipotent, and all that. And you will become one of them. Over. You become him. Over. But he wants to go and explain details. So he said, okay, you go, you desire whatever, you will get it. Is that so? Oh, not just that. At the same time, if you want to experience different things, you can create multiple bodies and desire multiple things and experience all at the same time. Simultaneously, you can experience multiple things. Wow, that is good. So he says, Yugapadeva Kim Bahuna. Okay, now he understood. Oh, I'm going overboard. Let me stop it. Kim Bahuna. What should I say more? Let me explain. Yad sankalpayati tat sarvam Apratyuhena sadhya sampadyate, whatever he desires, that presents itself in front of him. That desired object presents itself in front of him without any obstacle, without any delay. Apratyuhana, without any delay, without any obstacle, he is enjoying it, experiencing it. Parantu, but there is one comma, there is star. What is that? We already said he goes to that world of Hiranyagarbha, he becomes that Hiranyagarbha himself. He takes that form of Hiranyagarbha and he gains all the powers which naturally are of the Hiranyagarbha, but except one power. All the other power you will have as original, but you are not original. You are always a duplicate. Why? Because that is also one important point. If we are a duplicate, then see, everyone who you see there is same. They all have the same power. But there is one fellow who will bring the jealousiness. Oh, this fellow has so much of power. This is not good. So there is no point in fighting here. So let us go and do our meditation. Why? Because that fellow only has that firstborn. Hiranyagarbha alone has the power to create, sustain, and destroy. That is what he says. Jagat Srishti Parana Samharana Vyatirekta Sarva Vibhutayah Hiranyagarbha Samaha Siddhyanti. He will gain every other power equivalent to Hiranyagarbha except for creation, sustenance, and destruction. Why give him that also? We already have that. That is what we are doing every day. We wake up, open our eyes, we start creating, and then close our eyes. At the night, we destruct. But still, this power of creation, sustenance, and destruction, he is avoiding it to you because he does not want multiple creators in play, multiple gods in play. So that is going to be a chaotic creation then. This fellow will desire, let me create, let me destroy. Over, there is a chaos. Already we know if two people are there, then there is always a chaos. Now, multiple people. So there will be a democracy, or there will be a Hitler kind of a anything is possible there. So he says, Aneka Ishwaratve Jagatah Unmathana Prasangat Srishtyadi Trika Atirikta Sakala Aishwaryani Upasakasya Siddhanti. If you accept, see, he explained that itself, that also. So he says, if there are multiple creators, then this creation will be under chaos. So to avoid that, except the Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya, except the creation, sustenance, and destruction, merging, everything, dissolution, everything else he gains. That is the idea. Iyam eva sayujya mukti riti kathyate. This is what is called a sayujya mukti. Sayujya mukti. This mukti is called a sayujya mukti. Normally, this is not an idea of Vedanta. This is an idea of the Vishishtadvaitins and Dvaitins. There they have different kinds of, different gradations of mukti. See, for them, liberation means to be in the world of Vishnu. But I did so much and he didn't do so much, but she also comes and sit next to me. How can I accept that? So, okay, don't worry. You will be in the first line. He will be in the third line. Is it okay? But still, okay. You go closer to Vishnu and serve him. He will be in the queue. Okay? Looks fine. But this fellow, okay, become an ornament to Vishnu. Is it okay? Okay. Become equivalent form of Vishnu. Now, but still, okay, become a bacteria, virus, or something in Vishnu's body. Is it okay now? So these are different levels of mukti according to them. Salokya, you go and stay in the world of Vishnu. You can, it is very difficult to see him. So there will be CCTV cameras and there will be big screens. So you can look at the screen or probably take a cell phone and then, yeah, he's there. Okay. So look at, so that is Salokya, being in the same world as Vishnu. You will not be able to approach him because of your karmas, which are becoming you don't have that you don't qualify to go there. So you can look at him from distance. That is salokya. Then samipya. You can go closer to him. You can stay closer. Look at him from not farther away distance. You don't need a big TV. So you can look at him directly. Samipya. Then you have Sarupya. Sarupya means taking the same form as Vishnu. You will also have 4 hands. Vishnu also has 4 hands. You will also have all the designs of Vishnu. So the same designer cloth which Vishnu wears, you will also get. Good. That is the 3rd level of mukti. 4th is Sarshti. Sarshti. Sarshti is a Sayujya. Similar to him, he will have all the powers, etc. Then 5th is Sayujya. You will become a part of him. That is the 5th. Now, what we accept as Sayujya is a Sarshti in their school. Okay. So, evam upasakaha hiranyagarbha samaha san chirakalam sankalpa matra siddhan nana divya bhogan bhunjanaha pralaya kale hiranyagarbha lokasya avasana kale samudita advaitatma jnanaha videha moksham prabhate. So, evam upasaka, in this way, this upasaka, this meditator who goes there, hiranyagarbha samahasan chirakalam sankalpamatra siddhan nana divya bhogan bhunjanaha. He stays there and having the same power as Hiranyagarbha, similar power as Hiranyagarbha, he starts experiencing the different divine objects. At the end of the dissolution, Pralaya Kali, at the end of dissolution, at the time of dissolution, Hiranyagarbha Lokasya Avasana Kale. Dissolution means at the time of the destruction of that end of that Hiranyagarbha Loka, Brahma Loka. What happens? Samudita Advaita Atma Jnanaha. Since he has gained the non-dual knowledge, Videha Moksham Labate, he gets liberated from that body also. Vigata Deha Videha. He gets liberated from that embodiment also, because there also he has a subtle embodiment. Your subtle body is what is going there. So he still has a body. So that body is also removed. Very good. How do you know this? There are statements. Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pratisanchare parasyante kritatmanaha pravishanti parampadam. It says Brahmana saha. Brahmana means Karya Brahma. Brahmana saha te sarve. All of them means not just you. All the other people who meditated upon this Brahman, this non-attributed self, but had impediments or meditated on the attributed self, they came here because of their tapas. They all samprapte pratisanchare. They all go there at the end of and they gain their knowledge there. Parasyante, at the end of the dissolution, at the end of the creation, kritatmanaha, since they have achieved what needs to be achieved there, they have gained the non-dual knowledge. Pravishanti parampadam, enter the absolute state. So this is what they call it, communion or union with the divine, etc. Sayujya is what is a union with the divine or the communion, etc. Okay, 3:12. Ahangra dhyanadeva brahmaloka praptiriti niyamah. See, there are 2 kinds of meditation which we saw. One is a ahangraha upasana. The other is a pratika upasana. Pratika upasana means worshipping an object with the sense of divine. Ahangraha upasana means worshipping everything in the divine. I in the object is pratika upasana. Object on I is ahangraha upasana. Accepting everything, whatever you worship as not different from yourself, is ahangraha upasana. Accepting yourself to be superimposed on the object. the self to be superimposed on the object, the consciousness to be superimposed on the object. That is a pratika upasana. So pratika upasana means the idol worship, etc. So that does not qualify you to be entering this world of Brahman, the Brahmaloka, Hiranyagarbha. You don't qualify if you are performing the pratika upasana. You don't qualify to enter the world of Hiranyagarbha. यथा ओंकार ब्रह्मोपासकस्य ब्रह्मलोक प्राप्ति द्वारा मोक्षलाभः फलम् तथा उपनिषत् सूक्तानाम् इतरेषाम् अपि ब्रह्म उपासनानाम् इदम् एव फलम्. So like Omkara upasana, when you perform the Omkara or Omkara in the meditate on it in the form of Brahman, then you gain the Brahmaloka, you gain the world of Hiranyagarbha, and from there you gain the knowledge and get liberated. Similarly, the other methods of meditation said in Upanishad, etc., Upanishad, Sukta, etc., they also lead you to Brahmaloka alone. The different kinds of upasana leads you to Brahmaloka alone. Kintu, but ahangra upasanam vina itara upasanena na brahmaloko avapyate iti sutrakarihi bhashyakareischa brahma sutreshu bhashyadishu cha chaturthadhyaye parmitam. But sutrakara, Vedavyasa, bhashyakara, Bhagavan Bhashyakara, they all have commented upon this in the 4th chapter of Brahma Sutra, where they explain the phala. That's called as phaladhyaya. The 4th chapter is called as phaladhyaya, where they explain the results of the meditation, etc. So they have made it clear that only through ahangraha upasana you can gain the world of Brahman, the Hiranyagarbha, not through the pratika upasana. Narmada bananam shivarupena Salagrama Shilanam Vishnu Rupina Dhyanam tu Pratika Dhyanameva. Worshipping the stone from Narmada river, worshipping the stone from the Gantaki river, which is Shalagrama. So these will only, that they are called as Pratika Upasana. They will only na ahangraha dhyanam. That is not ahangraha dhyanam. You are superimposing consciousness on the object. Superimposing self, simple. Self on the object is a pratika. Pratika. Okay. Superimposition of self on the object is pratika. Aham graha. Aham graha. Aham grahayati iti aham graha. Aham, ego. Self. Graha means accepting. So, accepting the object on yourself, not different from yourself, is aham graha upasana. Seeing the worshipped thing as not different from yourself. Now here we are meditating on Omkara as Brahman. Omkara, a different thing as Brahman, I. Aham graha. You worship something as I, not different from I. That becomes aham graha upasana. That is why in Sandhya Vandana, etc., we meditate. When we do Sandhya Vandana, the Brahmaiva Aham Asmi, that we say that Brahmaiva Aham Asmi, Aham, that I am that Brahman. Whatever I worship is of the nature of Brahman. So he says, Evameva. See, this worship of these stones are Pratika Upasana. Similarly, worshipping of idols also is Pratika Upasana. Not just that Mano Brahmetyupasita, Adityo Brahmetyuadeshaha, Ityadi Shuti Yukta Upasanam api Pratika Dhyanameva. Meditating on the mind as self. Meditating on mind as self. That is also Pratika. Meditating on the sun as self. That is also Pratika. Meaning you are superimposing the consciousness on the mind or superimposing the consciousness on the sun and meditating that. Therefore, it is a worship of external object that becomes Pratika Upasana. Na ahangraha dhyanam, it is not ahangraha upasana. Tesham tad prakarena prasak phala shravanat te taihi na brahmaloko avapyate. And tat prakarane, wherever these meditations are discussed, Mano Brahmetyupasita, it is Chandogya Upanishad. Wherever these meditations are discussed, there in that very place, a different result is pronounced. Tanmana ityupasita mahan bhavate, tannama ityupasita namyante mriyante sapatnaha. All that is very clearly tan maha ityupasita, tan mana ityupasita, tan nama ityupasita, all that, each one of them have a different result. Taittiriya Upanishad. Nama, if you worship it as Nama, then everyone will salute you. If you worship it as Mana, then you will gain that absolute great state, etc. It is said. Okay, now Manavan Bhavati becomes respected. Sagunasya athava nirgunasya brahmanah swatma abhedena chitta chintanam ahangraha dhyanamityuchyate. What is ahangraha upasana? Sagunasya athava nirgunasya, the attributed self or the non-attributed, attributed or non-attributed, whatever that self, if you see it not to be different from yourself, if you see that attributed or non-attributed self which you worship to be not different from yourself, aham eva tat iti. So then that becomes a ahangraha upasana. Okay. Teneva dhyanena brahmaloko avapyate. Only through that dhyana you gain the brahmaloka, hiranyagarbha loka. Asau adityo brahma, brahmaivahamasmi. That is how we meditate during the Sandhya Vandana every day. A person who is initiated in the sacred third ceremony, he says, Asau aditya brahma. This sun is verily the Brahman. Now, this sun is Brahman. This sun is Brahman. I am superimposing the Brahman on the sun. That means that what kind of upasana it is? What is the upasana kind of? Pratika. Pratika. I am superimposing the consciousness on that. So, asau adityo brahma. That does not end there. Brahma eva aham asmi. I am that Brahman. Now it becomes a ahangraha. So first, we superimpose the consciousness on the sun and worship it as Gayatri, and then take that and superimpose on yourself. So that is why Sandhya Vandana, etc. rituals are so powerful, so important. Now people don't understand the importance of Sandhya Vandana. It is an upasana, Sandhya upasana. It is called as upasana. Now people think it is something which is very silly, and they escape it. Anyway, that is a different subject. 3.13. Uttrayana margena brahmalokam gatanam punaha samsara praptihi jnanadvara moksha praptischa. See, you go to the Brahmaloka. How do you go? We already gave you the route map. So you go to this world, and from there that world, from there that world, from there that world, and finally you are led to the Brahmaloka by the person who is working there or another senior seeker. He says, okay, let me go. I have not been out from this world. Let me go on. This time okay. No one is going. Let me go. So somebody is receiving you and taking you. You go to that Brahmaloka. Now, what will happen to that fellow? He goes there. He can do anything. Just great. Okay, very good. Very good. So he'll be fooled by these magic tricks, and he will lose his focus. If you think so, he says, Punaha samsara apraptihi. You enter that world, he will not. Once you enter, that's a one-way street. You are not going to come back to samsara, because you have a long time there till the end of creation you have. So, and our Brahma's one day is our billions and millions of days. So you have enough time to understand that. Okay, so you are not going to come back. Jnana dwara moksha praptischa. And even there, Whether you go to the world of deity or what does not really matter. There too, you have to gain the knowledge. No escape. Only through knowledge can you gain liberation and not through any other means. So, Purvokto Margaha, Uttrayana Margaha, Devayana Margaha, Archiradi Marga iti cha uchyate. The path which we explained, that path is called as Uttarayana Marga. And we showed the Uttarayana Marga. That also has another name, Devayana. Devayana. Deva means deity. Yana means path. The path of deities. Okay. Then Archiradi. It is also called Archihi. Archi and Dhuma. There are two paths. Dhuma is smoke. Archi is the light. So the path of light. So there are different names for this. Tena Devamargena Brahmalokam Gata Upasakaha Punaha Samsaram na Pratipadyate. Once you go to that Brahmaloka through this path of Devaloka, Devamarga, the path of light, you will not come back to samsara. He is not going to come back to samsara. Kintu tatraiva jnanotpatya savideha mukti prapyat apnoti. And what happens to him? He will gain the knowledge there itself and become liberated. So there is no Jivan Mukta state. He will be liberated only at the end of the creation. That is what the Shruti said. Okay? Tatra Jnana Sadhani Bhuta Guru Upadeshadi Apeksha Nasti. But what you would have to do? So whatever you studied here, all that will be, you don't have to study there again. We comically say, even there you have to go and study. The thing is, whatever you studied in these different births, because of that, the punya, you have achieved the entrance into that world. So there you don't have to study. Whatever you studied, you will remember. It is not just this lifetime. You have been studying so many lifetime, but still nothing happened. So don't, this is not a statement of this encouragement. It is to push you. You are not done. Now this year, yes, we'll do that, like that ant. We'll do that. We'll not escape. Okay. So we will do it. Now that he says, Jnanotpatya, you don't have to study the Shastra there again. Everything is recollected immediate, because you have the nature of desiring things and getting it done. Let us download all the Shastras. Ping! The internet is so fast. Over. It's all downloaded. Now let us process it. Okay, over. Aham Brahmasmi. Very good. Tatra, there is no dependence upon the guru, etc. there. Brahmaloke, Guru Padeshadi Sadhanam Vinaiva Jnanotpattir Bhavati. In that Brahmaloka, even without the guru, etc., the knowledge takes place. But remember, even without the guru, etc., does not mean there is no guru. The guru is already there. The initiation was already given to you in this world for not once, many births, in many births. So that collective knowledge will be there. And whatever was missing, those dots also will be connected there easily. That is the idea. Tatra cha karanam brahmaloke rajastamo gunayoho leshato api abhavah. And what is the guarantee that I will be gaining the knowledge there? No one can guarantee you anything, but we can guarantee this. Because in that brahmaloka, there is no Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Therefore, Sattva, being Shuddha Sattva, being having the mind which is very pure, it is easy to understand the truth. That is the beauty there. Okay? Tasya lokasya kevala Sattva Guna Pradhanata cha. In that world, there is only predominant Sattva. There is no Rajoguna or Tamoguna. You have to understand this. Otherwise, that very world will become chaotic. We said if that person becomes the creator, sustainer, and destroyer, then there will be, okay, let me create, oh, let me destroy. There will be multiple Ishvaras which will bring chaos to this creation. But forget about that. If you have Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna there, then you don't have the power of creation, but there will be chaos in that very world. Because you can do whatever. Then it will look like those Chinese movie. All that magic tricks will happen there. Okay, so tamoguna bhavat jadatva alasyadikam nasti. Because there is lack of tamoguna, you will not be lazy, you will not be inert. Not now. No, that is not there. Rajoguna bhavat tat karyabhuta kama krodhadika rupa vikshopa nasti. And because of absence of Rajoguna, there is no desire, there is no anger, etc. Because this anger, desire, etc. will start creating feud between these people in there. And how can you be at peace? You went there after being troubled. Oh, at least some peace there. And you enter, it is all beautiful. Then after 2 minutes, you will see these people fighting each other. Which party are you from? Are you his party or our party? Decide now. So that will become a terrible pain. So that also does not exist. And moreover, another point to remember here, which is you don't have the desire or anger, because of which you will not go enter that world and say, okay, let me finish this first. We have long time to understand the truth. We have enough time. Let me first enjoy whatever needs be. Okay, bring me that, bring me this. There is no desire. So that the whole idea of desire creation, whatever you desire, they are gained. It's a humbug. Because there is no desire possible, because there is no Rajaguna. You will be given everything. What do you want? Nothing. Then what's the point in going there? You are wasting your time. Remember, don't even desire to go there. You are wasting your time because you don't have the desire, anger. So you can't utilize it. Now, see, first there is no desire. Therefore, you don't desire anything. Then second, there is no anger. And you cannot, oh, let me show my power. How much tapas I have done. You can't do that. There is no ego trips there. So what is the point in having all this power? You know, the biggest problem, you will have to understand this, otherwise it's very difficult. The biggest problem is you have all the powers and you have none to display it to. That's the greatest pain. You have all the powers, but no one is there. Okay, I have been here. Just keep quiet. So this is a biggest pain. This another pain. So it is all beautiful, hunky dory, all that. Oh, it's beauty. But the point is, there is nothing for us to enjoy there. You are given a very beautiful picture of this world, not to attract you to this world, to attract you to this Kramamukti, but give you a sense, beat the out of you to understand there is nothing there. What are you going to do there? Understand it here. Okay? So, एवं तमो रजसोहो अभावात् आवरण विक्षेप्यो अभावे केवल सत्वगुण प्रधाने ब्रह्मलोके सत्वगुण कार्य ज्ञान रूप प्रकाश तत्र लोके मुख्यः. Now there is no rajoguna and tamoguna. You are at the gates of the Brahmaloka. See this. You are at the gates of Brahmaloka, the Hiranyagarbhaloka. Now, till the gate, there is Sattva, Rajas, Tamoguna. You are like. The moment you enter, changes. Everything changes. There is no, like you enter some sacred place or some protected place. First, they'll take away all your cell phones and all that, right? So, like that. You enter, your cell phone, which is your Rajoguna and Tamoguna, they are taken. You have only Sattoguna. Now you go there, with Sattva Guna, immediately the knowledge is waiting for that very state for you to gain that pure Sattva. It is around the corners. The moment the Sattva Guna is there, you already know what you are. So that is why he says, Rajo Tamasoho Abhavat. Since there is no Rajo Guna, no. How can just be the Sattva Guna and I can understand the truth? This is too much, right? No. Since there is no Rajoguna and Tamoguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna are the key gunas for key qualities to bring in the Avarana and Vikshepa. Tamoguna, wheeling power. Rajoguna, projecting power. Since the Rajoguna and Tamoguna don't exist, there is no projection, there is no wheeling. When there is no projection and there is no wheeling, there is no ignorance. When there is no ignorance, then you are already realized. The moment you enter the gates, you are realized. So, etena pratipadyamanaha imam mano mavartam navartante. One who enters this world, he will not come to this mortal world. Nacha punaravartate, nacha punaravartata iti. Chandogya Upanishad repeats it twice. He does not come back. He does not come back again. Okay. Tesham na punaravartihi. For those people who have understood the truth, they don't come back. Jnana utpadyate pumsam kshanat papasya karmanah. Bhagavad Gita says, Jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshanat papasya karmanah. Kshaya papasya karmanah. If the papasya karmanah, if the sins are dissolved, destroyed, at that very moment, jnana takes place, knowledge takes place. Papasya karmanah kshayat. Papa, sin, karmanah, karma, the papa karma, kshayat, destruction, annihilation. The moment the papa karmas, the sins are annihilated, immediately the knowledge takes place. Until there is papa, there can be no thought of Ishvara. It is impossible. We are blessed to think about God, Ishvara, because the papa is at abeyance. You have kept it. Okay, wait. So that is what we are doing. So, Sattva Sanjayate Jnanam, and it is also said in Gita ji. Sattva Sanjayate Jnanam, we have already seen this earlier. The Sattva Guna, because of Sattva Guna, knowledge takes place. Knowledge liberates you. Ityadi Shruti Smriti. It is not just in one place. There are hundreds of Shrutis and Smritis which establish this. 3:14. Hiranyagarbha Loka Basino Asanga Nirvikara Brahmarupataya Atmano Bhane Karanam. See, people who enter the world of Hiranyagarbha, who stay put in the world of Hiranyagarbha, for them, this knowledge of the self, which is of the nature of unattributed, unassociated, is gained immediately. What is the cause for that? What is the reason for that? We have already given you enough reason, but still he is saying, I will explain more reasons. Purvam Omkarasya Brahmarupataya Upasana Kale Omkara Matranam Artho Vakshyamana Ritya Chintatah. See, why did he gain? Immediately entering the, how did he gain? The knowledge. But you said knowledge should be given by the teacher, then the initiated into the, no. That is not needed. Why? Why is the exception for him? Because Purvam Omkarasya Brahmarupataya Upasana Kale, when he meditate on Omkara in the form of Brahman. Omkara in the form of Brahman. Okay? Then Omkara Matranam Artho Vakshyamana Ritya Chintitah, he meditated upon the Omkara's syllables Ma in the method which is going to be said. Already explained, he is going to explain it again. Sthula Upadi Vishishta Viradatmaka Vishva Chaitanyam Akara Rupa Prathamatraya Vachyartha. See, the word meaning of is the gross creation. The gross creation, gross collective creation, Virad, subtle, gross individual creation, Vishva, which is Akara. Collective gross, individual gross, Akara. They are not different. He understood the collective gross to be, individual gross to be Akara. Identical, they are not different. Okay, then subtle gross, subtle individual as ukara. That is why I said Sukshma Upadhi Vishishta Hiranyagarbhatmaka Taijasa Chaitanyam Ukara Rupam Rupa Dvitiya Matraya Vachyartha. The word meaning of U is the individual subtle, which is a Taijasa, and the collective subtle, which is the Hiranyagarbha. These are names. Forget about the names. You have collective gross, collective subtle. He saw this to be collective gross and collective subtle. Individual gross, collective gross and individual gross. And he saw this U to be individual subtle and collective subtle. Simple. Understand? First is gross creation. He saw the gross creation to be the word meaning of a. He saw the subtle creation to be the word meaning of U. In that gross and subtle, you have collective and individual. That is identical. So he saw that to be identical, the word meaning of that a or U. Okay. Now, Karanopadivishteshwaratmaka Prajna Chaitanyam Ukara Rupastritiya Matrayaha Vachyartha. Similarly, the Makara, he saw it to be the individual causal and collective causal, not different from them. The Makara, the word meaning of Makara, when I say Ma, it means it is individual causal and collective causal. Both. They are identical. All the three are synonyms. They are identical. So, Sattaguna Prabhavacha Vakshyamana Prakarena Vegapurvakam Vicharayati cha Upasakaha. And because of Evam Prakchintita Artha Anusmarana Upasakasya Brahmaloke Jayate. Now, in this way, if he meditates, then that Upasaka, he enters the Brahmaloka. And when he enters the Brahmaloka, there we know in Brahmaloka there is no Rajoguna or Tamoguna. There is predominance of Sattva-guna. Therefore, he says, Sattva-guna Prabhavacha, because of the power of Sattva-guna, because of the greatness of Sattva-guna, Vakshyamana Prakarena, in the method which is going to be explained, Vekapurvakam Vicharayate. He is going to discriminate properly. He is going to enter into the discrimination in a proper way. What is that? Stulopadi Drishtya Khalu Shuddhe Chaitanya Viratvam Vishwatvam Pratitir Abhut. Tatra Samashti Stula Drishtya Viratvam Vishti Stula Drishtya Vishwatvam Cha Abhat. Samashti Veshyatmaka Stula Drishti Virahe Virat Vishwatve Na Pratiyeta. Kintu Shuddha Chaitanya Matram Bhaseta. See, we said Virat collective gross, Vishwa individual gross is the word meaning of Akara. Very good. Now, only when there is something gross, there can be two types of gross, collective and individual. Only when there is something gross, there can be two types of gross, which is collective and individual gross. When there is no gross, how can there be collective and individual gross? That is why he says, Sthula Upadhi Drishtya Khalu. Indeed, through the vision of the grosser creation, Shuddhe Chaitanya Virattam Pratiyate, Vishwattam Cha Pratiyate. You see, in the pure self, the gross collective as Virat and the subtle gross individual as Vishwa. Only because of the idea that it is different from you. Only when you see the embodiment of grossness. Now, the moment you enter this world, the grossness does not exist. There is nothing gross. It's only subtle world. Everything is subtle. So, Samashti Veshyatmaka Stula Drishti Virahe, when there is absence of collective and individual, then there is no Virat, there is no Vishwa. When there is no Virat and Vishwa, there is only the pure consciousness. Shuddha Chaitanya Matram Bhaseta. Tasma Stulopadi Rahita Viradatmaka Vishvo Akara Vachyartha. Therefore, in the absence of the gross embodiment, this Virat is Vishva is the meaning of Akara. Okay. He's repeating the idea, same idea again and again in different places. Tathaiva. Similarly is the case of Hiranyagarbha, which is the collective subtle, and Taijasa, which is the individual subtle, which is the word meaning of Ukara. And in the absence of the subtle creation, there can be no Hiranyagarbha or Taijasa. That is what is the word meaning of Ukara. Same idea. I'm just saying this. That is what he says. Tathaiva. Similarly to Sukshma Upadhi Sahita Hiranyagarbhatmaka Tejasaha Ukara Vachyartha. Similarly to the subtle embodiment associated is Hiranyagarbha is Tejasa. That is the word meaning of Ukara. समष्टि सूक्ष्म उपाधि दृष्टिया शुद्ध चैतन्य हिरण्यगर्भत्वं व्यष्टि सूक्ष्म दृष्टिया चैतन्य तेजस्त्वं च अभात. In the pure consciousness, with reference to the collective subtle, you call it that very consciousness, you call it as a Hiranyagarbha. When you see it as a individual subtle, that very consciousness, you call it as a Taijasa. Now, in the absence of that Sukshma Upadhi Drishti Virahe, when the absence of the embodiment, subtle embodiment, then there is no Hiranyagarbha or Taijasa. Kintu Shuddha Chaitanya Matram Bhasate, only the pure consciousness on which you superimpose this collective subtle and individual subtle alone remains. Okay. When you take away the embodiment, the embodied only remains. That is the idea. Okay. तथैव कारणोपाधि सहित सहित ईश्वरात्मा प्राज्ञः अकारवाच्यार्थः समष्टि अज्ञान उपाधि दृष्ट्या शुद्ध चैतन्य ईश्वरत्वम् आभात. व्यष्टि अज्ञान उपाधि दृष्ट्या प्राज्ञत्वम् अभात. अज्ञान उपाधि दृष्टि विरहेतु ईश्वरत्वं प्राज्ञत्वं वा न भासेत, किन्तु केवल चैतन्य मात्रं प्रतीयेत. So in the self we superimpose the causal embodiment, which is ignorance, collective causal embodiment, which becomes Ishvara. In this pure self, we superimpose the individual causal embodiment, which is ignorance. We have the prajna. Now, only when the superimposition of the collective subtle and collective causal and individual causal is there, you have these two creations called Ishvara and Prajna. In the absence of this embodiment, which is the causal embodiment, in the absence of causal embodiment, there can be nothing, no Prajna, no Ishvara. What remains is the embodied, the substratum for this embodiment, which is Shuddha Chaitanya. So that is what shines without the Ishvara and Prajna. Kincha yatra yad vastu anya drishtya pratiyate tatra tad vastu paramartho nasti. Moreover, whatever is seen as something else, that object does not exist in reality. Understand this. Whatever is seen as something else, whatever is seen as something else does not exist in reality. Whatever is seen as something else does not exist in reality. Now, Adhyasa Bhashya. Atasmin tad buddhirityavochama. What is Adhyasa? Atasmin tad buddhihi. In not that, the idea of that. And what is that? In the first paragraph itself, what did we say? Mithya bhavitum yuktam. It is logical to conclude that this is illusory. That is exactly what it said. It cannot have any real existence, means mithya bhavitum yuktam. It is illusory. Yasya vastuno yad rupam anya drishtim vina swata eva pratiyate tadeva tasya paramarthikam surupam. Whichever object not seen in a different way, as a different thing, at any point of time, that is the inherent nature of that object. If that object is not seen as anything else at any point of time because of any other reason, that is its inherent nature. Yatha kasminshit purushe pitrudrishtya putrattam pita drishtya Pautrattam cha pratiyamanam na tasya paramartha dharma kintu purushatvam eva tasya paramartha dharma. Like, he is giving example for this. Like, there is a person. That person is called as a son from the vision of a father. Grandson from the vision of grandfather. Father from the vision of a son. There is this person who is called as, the same person is referred to as son, grandson, father. So these different ideas on that person, son, grandson, father, all that are not real. Then what is reality? Him, seeing him as a person. That person, being a person, is the reality. All the ideas, all the different things are ideas. We are not entering the idea of Vedanta here. Just seeing, he's a man, that's all. On that man, you superimpose different ideas. He's tall, he's short, he's this, he's that, etc. That is a different thing. Okay? Now, तथा स्थूल सूक्ष्म कारण उपाधि दृष्ट्या भासमान विश्व तैजसत्व प्राज्ञत्वादयो न परमार्थ धर्म किंतु परंतु मिथ्या एव ते चैतन्य मात्रं परमार्थ सत्यम. Similarly, because of the gross, subtle and causal embodiments, we see the different creations like Vishva, Tejasa, Prajna, etc. Vishva, Tejasa, Prajna. So this idea, different ideas of the same thing, having multiple ideas of the same thing cannot be real. Therefore, that is mithya. That is illusory, non-real. Then what is real? Chaitanya matram, being consciousness alone is the real. All these ideas of that being Taisa, that being Prajna, that being the Hiranyagarbha, etc. All that Vishva, Taisa, Prajna, Hiranyagarbha, all these are stories. That is not real. Okay. And that Taijasam, we will see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.